Welcome to my channel, welcome back to my channel if you've been here before. My name is Jen, and this video is going to be me doing a landscape, gardenscape, we'll say landscape, speed paint digital in Clip Studio, because that's what I had open. I'm just being lazy, I guess. I've got all kinds of programs I could use, I'm using this one. But anyway, this video is sort of loosely based on a reference photo that either me or John took. Well, actually probably would have been John, because I think in another photo, I'm actually on the bridge. So yeah, it would have been John that took the reference photo for this. But it's loosely based on a little scene in Niagara Park from it could have been like the year we got married, or it could have been the year we went back to get his PR card. I can't remember which. I really can't. But Niagara, it's like the Las Vegas of Canada. I love it. It's so cheesy and stuff, but you know, it's very pretty too. But hey, yeah. So I'm just filling in the colors, like the flat color. No, I don't know if there's flats. So it kind of just uses as a basic color scheme, really. So you know, like the trees and the bushes and the river and the rocks and stuff like that. No, my original idea about this is like a waterfall, so we'll put a waterfall in it and go from there and see what happens, which I kind of do end up doing in the end, but. Excuse me, hiccups. Do change a few things, you know, along the way. But yeah, but I could have sped this part up a little bit more, but I didn't. So that's probably why this video is like almost half an hour long. It's freaking long for me. But so I am just using a basic oil paint flat brush at the moment. Actually, I use that pretty much for the whole thing. Besides a bit of blending and stuff with the little cursor thing. It looks like 2 drops of spots, like eye drop spots. But it doesn't matter. It's like on the left. but yeah, I just use the blending thing and I just blend colors together a little bit, but I'm just using very quick. It's just not realistic at all. It really isn't. And maybe the next landscape, maybe I'll do it kind of realistically, but I don't tend to do landscapes. I'm not really sure why I like looking at landscape paintings and drawing and stuff. I just don't do them myself. I kind of find them sometimes boring to make. I don't know, that's just me maybe, but I do need to do them more, so I will do more, because, you know, practice is good. You know, draw things you don't like drawing to improve. Well, I've been told that, but I don't think that really works. If you really don't want to draw something, you're not gonna improve, you're just gonna be miserable drawing something, really. But this, I thought, I was not miserable drawing this. I actually had an okay time drawing this. I put a lot of color theory into this, you know. But, so that's why I like at the end, I really like how the colors look. But, didn't really, like I said, not gonna be my first choice of drawing. But, you know, do things differently. It's how you grow as an artist. You know, going outside of your comfort zone and, you know, thinking a little bit outside the box kind of thing. The things you never normally would do. I probably should do something traditionally, like a landscape traditionally. Maybe I'll get some paints out and some boards and maybe do that one day. And the new desk setup that I'm sitting at the moment, which is, this room's almost finished. We need a bookshelf in here and get rid of some boxes that are in the corner. But other than that, as far as I can tell looking around, there's not much left to do. So yay, almost done after 2.5 months maybe? We'll see. I don't know, but that's probably because one of the reasons I messed my elbow up, so I couldn't really help, because I injured myself. Nothing new there. I'm always injuring myself, not on purpose. I'm really klutzy and clumsy, and yeah, if I haven't broken something, I've broken something of me, but I haven't broken anything lately. Cross my fingers, knock on wood, there's no wood around me. Well, is this real wood? Yeah, that's real wood. The sideboard, I think it's real wood. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's real wood. Yeah. But, like I said, working on the trees. I think these are supposed to be trees, but in the end they kind of look more like bushes, but that's okay. I wasn't going, like I said, for realistic landscape, just kind of a landscape look, I guess we'll say. Yeah, that was just to have a landscape look and to focus on where the light was coming from, and once again the top right left right, you know, just slightly dyslexic. It's coming from the top right, and I always choose the top right, and I don't know why. I need to like choose the top left or the bottom left or bottom right even for lighting sources rather than the top right, because I always do that. I gotta stop doing that. But I like the way these bushes slash trees, whatever the hell they're supposed to be, turn out in the end. Now I could have made them a little bit more like blendy, but I kind of like the little rough patches kind of look to them. I actually don't mind the way they look. I'm trying to be more loose in my digital paintings because I tend to be really detail focused, actually more so than when I'm drawing traditional for some reason. I think that's because you can zoom in on things, you know, add so many details to it. But I'm pretty sure that's why I'm trying to focus on simplifying things, at least for me, so I don't get so detail obsessed about things. Because I when I paint traditionally, I'm not generally that detail obsessed. I tend to be really messy painter, but which is probably maybe why I'm having difficulty with watercolors now, because I want like a loose kind of look with watercolors, but I also like the detailed look with like illustrated style with watercolors. I haven't found my style with watercolors yet, so maybe that's why I'm focusing just digital stuff. Oh, I do have a digital watercolor program, which I keep meaning to frickin' use, but maybe in the future I'll open that too when I get time. I've got to actually use Mudbox too, so hey, you'll be seeing some 3D stuff soon, yay! And also maybe I'll do Mermaid. You know, I'm thinking I'm gonna do Mermaid. I have ideas in my head. I need to start sketching some stuff out soon if I'm gonna do Mermaid though, because if I don't, then I'm never gonna get it done in what, you know, a month, and I've got 6 days to prepare, roughly. I don't really know, maybe, who knows. If I don't do it, I'll do something else, doesn't really matter. But I was thinking of going to 2 videos a week again, which I might do. If I do, it will be after Mermaid, because if I do Mermaid, that'll be a video every day, and that'll be enough for at least a month, and then after that we'll see what happens. You know, I might do 2 videos a week, you know, one traditional, one digital, or whatever happens. I'm not making solid plans because it's a month away roughly, and I'm not, you know, things change, you know, things could go completely backwards, and you know, and I won't get anything done, who knows. But so yeah, like I said, just working on the tree slash bushes slash whatever the hell we want to call them. And green, red, this was taken in the fall. I do remember that. Whether it was the year we got married or whether it was the year we went back for his John's PR card, it was the fall. It was October-ish both times, oddly enough, because we got married on Halloween, went back for his PR card October-ish, probably. So it was fall. In where I used to live in Ontario, when it gets fall, the colors are gorgeous, everything changes and stuff like that. I mean, things change sort of around here, but it pretty much stays green here all year long. There's a few trees that change color and stuff, but it's very green, actually, you know, because of all the rain we get in Scotland, because it always frickin' rains. Well, not really, not the rain. It didn't rain today, but it didn't rain yesterday either. It was quite nice, actually, yesterday. Today was kind of, but yeah, no, it is always green, very green here. Maybe I'll do some videos, more videos of Scotland. That's an idea. Stick to the little GoPro clone we have, or you know, one of our phones attached to the dashboard, and you can see how green it is and stuff like that. Maybe go up to the hills or the mountains when we're out of lockdown and everything's, you know, sort of pseudo-normal. Not that things are going to get back to normal ever. And people that think that, really, there's no, you know, there's no normal now. Things have changed and will keep changing. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about freaking that. I'm here to talk about this thing. And I'm rambling because, like I said, this is 27 minutes and 5 seconds. Looking at the clock, actually, that went long, which is very long for me. And it's very difficult. I mean, I don't have difficulty talking, but difficulty talking for half an hour about something I've worked on. Yeah, a little bit. But you can see how things are a little bit more blended there. I probably used the blender on some of these bushes a little bit too much. But that's okay. You know, like, it was the blender, the tool is there to use. And then I got some of the bushes done. You don't see everything because it's just the same thing over and over again. I thought they'd get freaking boring. So, didn't record every bush, and this video would be even twice as long. But, add some gray rocks, which is, you know, hey, that's exciting. No, not really. But just like light grays and dark grays, and then a bit of white, and a bit of black. Because I use black, even though they say don't use black, and I say screw you, I'm using black because it's the easiest way to get the dark light shadows that I want, and something like this I'm not really worried about. You know, I do add sometimes a little bit extra color to the black, to maybe like a navy blue, I guess. But here for the rocks, I just added black because they're rocks, you know, they're nothing spectacular. You know, they're round, smooth, sort of rough rocks. which I do add a bit of grass to them too in the end, because it was a bit too much. It wasn't. They looked really odd, actually, the rocks next to the bushes slash trees, whatever we said we want to call them. So I added a bit of grass growing on the rocks, moss, and a bit of maybe like a hint at little wildflowers with like a bit of color and stuff. But I actually should have counted up how many layers I had for this in the end, and I actually remember to label my layers, and I'm kind of glad I did, because I would have been completely confused as where things are. But I had a lot of layers when I was done this, and I should have counted them, because I don't remember really how many there were. There had to be a good 20 to 30 layers actually in the end, which is a lot. Actually, I mean, I know people make stuff with more, but for me, it's a lot. In the fact that I labeled them, that's a miracle in itself. Because then I wasn't completely confused as to what was on what, and constantly clicking on each layer trying to figure out what each layer was, so I didn't delete or work on the wrong layer, which I think I ended up doing anyway with some of the later rocks, but I fixed it, so that's okay. See, add the black. Like I said, the rocks, it doesn't really matter. I did, add a bit of color to some of them, but not very often. I just added a bit of color to a few of them, because after a while I was just like, nah, I would just use the grays and the blacks and the whites, because that was all I needed. And if you happen to hear any kids outside or whatever, even though it's 8:30-ish, it's nice enough out. You have kids running around and stuff, and it's good. It's the kids running around and stuff. Just like go run around and scream outside. See, I added a bit of like fake grass and hint of wildflowers. But yeah, so it's it is. Each of these little rocks is on its own layer, which. Did I need to do that? No, not really. I just did it so I could move them around if I needed to, independently from the other rocks that were there. And I do end up doing that a bit with the trees later on. Not so much with the rocks. So I guess I didn't have to do that with the rocks, but I did. More extra work maybe. Who knows? Probably was, but that's okay. But yeah, what are we at now? About 12 minutes and 26 seconds of me talking. If you're still here, you can have a cookie, as they say, kind of thing. I don't have any cookies in the house, but I can make some. I guess I can make some sugar cookies. Yeah, I can make some sugar cookies, or, shortbread. I can make shortbread. There's enough stuff in the house for shortbread. Actually, that's a good idea. Maybe I'll make shortbread. It doesn't take that long. It's very simple. It's like butter, sugar, or flour, something like that. And I don't know. You don't need much to make shortbread. It's easy. But it's been a while. But anyway, what am I working on now? I am working on. I have no idea, because it looks like I'm not doing anything. I'm just moving the mouse around aimlessly, trying to figure out what brush I'm using. Back to the rocks. That's what I was doing. Trying to figure out which brush to use, the size of the brush. But yeah. There's a lot of me looking around trying to figure out what the hell brush I'm going to be using, size I'm going to be using. Well, I'm using my Galman pen display, what is it, 22 something? I don't know, but I'm using that now because I'm back at my desk and it's sitting in front of me and it's like, never leave me again kind of thing. But it's there, and thankfully, I've got the Wacom, whatever the hell you want to call it, which is downstairs. I should put it in a drawer up here. But so if this one, hopefully nothing ever happens to this one, but if it does, I still have the tiny or smaller Wacom, whatever thing to use. But I think going from this to the Wacom that was hell, and then going from the Wacom to this was like, yeah, great, this is much better. Why didn't I did try hooking up to my laptop. I remember now, it just wouldn't work on my laptop because my laptop is an old piece of shit. Well, it's not. It's 8-9 years old. It still kind of works. It's just really slow. So we can upgrade the. I think John wants to put a different hard drive or something else in the future, but other things are more important at the moment. So that's kind of in the back of everything else going on. But yeah, I'm glad I did add the bit of the fake grass, moss, fake wildflower kind of looking things. It isn't in the picture. Those rocks were just rocks. But here I added it. Like I said, I'm glad I added it because it was just it didn't look quite right. There was just too much of a delineation, if that's the right word I'm thinking of, between the rocks and the bushes / trees. And now I think I'm working on the bridge, which is just like a stonish type bridge. You know, and this pile of water. Actually, this water actually had koi fish in it, which I do have some pictures of too, which I might end up drawing. I keep meaning to draw some koi fish, but I didn't put any fish in here, even though that was my idea, like with the waterfall and stuff like that. But in the end, it didn't work, so I just got rid of it. That's not on video because because actually, I think I forgot to turn the camera on actually when I added the fish and all that stuff, and I'm glad I didn't, because that just would have been wasted footage and stuff. I would have had to edit out. But yeah, so I'm just adding a very simple bridge, kind of, I guess. It's just a stone bridge, just nothing really exciting. It's a bridge. What else can you say about a bridge? It didn't fall down when I stood on it, I guess. Maybe, yeah, we'll say that. It didn't fall down when I stood on it. It's a bridge. It did its job, But I'm just adding a bit of shadows and a bit of highlights, and making the bridge look a little less, trying to make the bridge look a little less flat, with a bit of texture thrown in there, some different types of grays and some whites and a bit of different colors, just to add a bit of texture, because the bridge looks really boring and flat. And adding the railings, which you would have seen at this angle, like the one side of the bridge, 3/4 sort of view of the bridge on one end. But yeah, so yeah, just like I said, texture, because it's supposed to be made of some kind of stone, and blend it out a bit so it's not so, lines aren't so harsh and rough looking, And then what am I doing now? And I'm trying to remember at this point what I'm doing. I don't actually know what I'm doing, because I don't remember. This took me a week to do. So yeah, just adding a bit of white, because there was white actually. The stone on top of the bridge, like would have been the railings of the bridge, I guess, but they weren't extra railings, were white. So I just added a bit of that to it, a bit of white to give it a bit more 3D kind of look, I guess. We'll say that's what I'm doing. And because the side of the bridge would have had more light to it, I added some lighter colors to it, which I do blend out again with the little blendy tool thing, and I'm just making sure I've got everything kind of lined up with everything else in the photo. Or, I'm not copying things perfectly. Like, when I sketched this out, it was very rough and very quick, because I just wanted to get the rough idea of where things are, not the exact placement of where things are. I mean, if I was gonna do something more realistic, then I guess I would take more time with the sketch. But this sketch literally took me like 10 minutes to do, so nothing's really perfect. It's very rough, round shapes and stuff like that. But if I was gonna do a more detailed piece, I definitely would take my time drawing out every part of the sketch and stuff, because if the sketch is wrong, then it just doesn't look right. And here you can see I did the other bushes / trees and the rocks, and I didn't record them because it's the same as the rest of it, so, why not? So, why record it? But I said, we'll work on the waterfall, which just had a bunch of blues and stuff like that. So I did end up looking up watercolor references on Unsplash, I think it was, because it wasn't, I know what a waterfall looks like, but I was like, how does it look when it goes and hits rocks and stuff like that? So that's why I looked it up, which kind of helped, actually, in the end, thankfully. Yeah, thankfully, but because if I didn't, things might have looked a little slightly odder than they do in the end. Well, it doesn't look odd in the end. It just, like I said, there's things I wish I had done differently with the water, but I didn't. And I don't mind the water in the end. I just wish I had thought better of where I was gonna put any possible future fish or anything like that. That's kind of what I wish I had done, but I didn't. So, it's, yeah. So I'm just adding a bunch of blues, very loose, bunch of whites, different light blues and stuff like that, and trying to go with the flow of where the water would go, like, the direction of the flow of water and when it hits the rocks and stuff. Trying to do that, trying to keep that in mind when I'm painting it. Well, yeah, it is painting technically. I mean, people are like, oh, digital art isn't art. Oh, fuck off. It is art. You and your anal retentive of what is art and what isn't art. Not you specifically if you're watching this, but it's just a general thing about people like, oh, digital art isn't digital art. Yeah, it is. But, and this is just blending with brush, that you can't see yet where it is right here because I've zoomed completely in right now. But But yeah, so sometimes I wish I hadn't done that. Actually, I can set OBS up so you can see exactly what I'm doing with the brushes, the sidebars and everything like that, but I don't have that section turned on. I should, but you know, I don't. That's my fault. And so yeah, you can see I changed the blue, made it a little bit darker, which you can do. I just put a couple extra layers, duplicated some layers and set them to multiply, and then made the blue a little darker, which actually helped me because then I could put lighter strokes on top of it and make the water look like it was flowing more in a different direction on top of like a dark water. Now the water in the actual fake river or pond or whatever like that was very actually greenish and stuff, but I made it blue here because, you know, hey, artistic license and all that, you can do that. And you don't have to follow your reference photo exactly, which I didn't. I really didn't in the end. But so I'm adding like crashing water waves and stuff like that, which would be white, and so, you know, when you see it, whether it hits rocks or the bottom of the waterfall, you know, it would be kind of white with the foam and all that stuff. Yeah, being flung up in the air and but yeah, so it's just a lot of blues over and over again with the oil flat brush. I think that's what it's called. I can't remember. I know I said at the beginning of the video 21 minutes ago, but now I can't remember. Short-term memory. Adding a bit more darker because that area on the right would be more dark because the light wouldn't be hitting that, because the bushes would be hitting, you know, stopping the light from hitting the water on that end, which, you know, you gotta remember to do that when you do, you know, but you gotta remember what way your light source is going, so you keep that in mind when you color things later on, whether you're doing it digitally or whether you're doing it traditionally. You have to remember where your light source is and what it's gonna hit when, you know, when it shines on things, and what it doesn't hit when it shines, when it tries to shine on things, I guess, you know. Light source is important. Doesn't matter what color the damn thing is, as long as you've got your tone, shadows, and all that other stuff right. That's all that matters. You could have a purple apple and it would still... Can you get purple apples, actually? I don't know. I don't think you can. You get really, like, reddish apples. I don't know. Point taken. Okay, you could have a purple orange, and it would still look like an orange as long as the colors... Or not the colors. The shadows, the tints, the lighting's all right. Wouldn't matter what color it is. Like I said, it could be purple, pink, you know... White. You get white orange. No, you don't get white oranges. You get orange oranges. Pretty much. That's why it's an orange. No, there's other ways. Yeah. But yeah, so this is just a lot of blending and stuff like that, which is okay. You know, you can see kind of what I had in mind. Just a lot of over blending and stuff. And then I realized that there need more white. There needs to be more like a crashing kind of like water foamy look. That's technical. To where the water would hit the rocks and crash into the bottom of the waterfall. So I create some extra layers and add more white. That's what I'm doing here. Adding more white. Like extra white on top of the blue layer. Actually, no, I'm still on that blue layer, but I do create another separate layer and add more white on top of all the other layers I've got at this moment, which works really well actually, which is what I've done here. You can see I can do that here. Yeah, see, this is that different layer where I just added like different darker blues, where because it hits the rocks, but then you'd also have like darks underneath it. So I add a bit of dark to add a bit of more contrast, so the white and the light blue would stand out more. So that's what I did. That. Yeah, and add a bit more light blue to that, and to where the waves crash against the rocks, and a bit more white to the side, the front of the waterfall, because that's sometimes what waterfalls look like when they're flowing really fast, especially if you try to take a photo of them, because if people have like on time lapse that's open for like 60 seconds, you get like a white effect on the waterfall, which is kind of what I'm going for in the end, which does sort of what it looks like in the end, thankfully. At least that's what I'm saying I was trying to go for in the end. Yeah, we'll go with that. That's what I was trying for. Everything in this picture was planned and went exactly the way I expected it to go. No, not really. But, you know, you don't have to tell people that. You know, you could tell people that this was exactly what I had in mind. And, you know, you'll never know otherwise. You know, that's what you could tell people. And they would either believe you or call you a lying piece of crap, and you go from there. But no, everything in this was planned, sort of. Well, I had an idea in my head. Like I said, it was a very rough sketch. If I had done better on the sketch, maybe I would have ended up with fish in it, but I didn't end up with fish in it. I got rid of that bottom section underneath the white waterfall because it didn't look right in the end. It really didn't, so I just got rid of it. And I'm glad I did, which you'll see soon-ish, in about 2 minutes. Yeah, it was like 2 minutes, just under 2 minutes, and it's almost done. So this is just trying to create a very loose, foamy, water-falling effect. Like water falling over. So it's just me, like I said, adding a lot of blue, a lot of white, mostly a lot of white actually at this stage to try to blend it into the blue. Which, like I said, worked, and then add a bit of white over the rocks so it looks like they're crashing, which you can kind of see here. And like I said, I got rid of that bottom dark blue section underneath where the waterfall like crashes into, I guess it would be land, because it didn't look right at all. And there were fishes in there, but I got rid of them because it just didn't look right. Maybe in the future I'll draw the fishes in the waterfall or something like that in a different photo. But this is it finished here. I actually quite like the way the bushes / trees, whatever the hell we want to call them, look like. The water looks okay. I need to practice, but that's okay. That's what this whole point of this thing is to practice and try to improve, and hopefully you do improve. If you don't, well, then you just keep trying until you get something that looks like the way you want it to look like, maybe? We'll say that? Yeah. I don't know. Anyway, I've talked for 27 minutes and I don't know how many seconds now. 26 seconds and 26 minutes and 33 seconds. Jesus Christ, Jen. But anyway, thank you for watching and listening to me ramble. If you managed to listen to me ramble about, and I didn't even remember what I freaking rambled about. But, so yeah, like, subscribe, click the little ring bell notification thingy, and leave a comment if you want. That'd be nice. But yeah, so yeah, once again, thanks for watching. And the next video is going to be, I have no idea. Once again, it'll be a surprise for both of us, so please come back and watch that. Thank you very much.